The killing of General Kwiwongpa in Liberia. General Thomas Kwiwongpa is dead. He led Tuesday's coup attempt against Liberia's head of state, Samuel Doe. At first it seemed to be succeeding, but then troops loyal to Doe got the upper hand against the rebels. Reprisals began against people thought to be sympathetic to General Kwiwongpa. There have been arrests and reports that property has been destroyed and looted. A manhunt was launched for General Kwiwongpa. Well, now he's been found and killed. Robin White asked Jeff Mutada in Monrovia how it happened.
Well, I understand that he was captured about 8 miles from the city, and he was captured by Doe's bodyguard, Edward Slanger, who shot him on the spot. The bullet-riddled body was then transported to Monrovia and taken to the Barclay Training Center, where he was put on public view. I learned later that the body was castrated. And shortly after that, Head of State Doe went to the radio station, the government station ELBC, and broadcast to the nation that Kwiwongpa had been captured and killed on the spot by his bodyguard. I learned from some observers around the area that he resisted arrest, and he was shot on the leg twice, put in the back of a jeep, and then later finished off.
Now, what are the scenes at the Barclay Training Center at the moment where his body is on display?
Well, hundreds of people are coming around to verify and make sure that this is the Kwiwongpa that they knew before. And Doe came later, after the broadcast, the head of state came down to the BTC to also look at the body.
Now, what about other rebels along with Kwiwongpa? What has happened to them? Have some escaped? Have they all been killed? Just what is the position?
Well, some were killed initially when government forces invaded the radio station on Tuesday. Some are still at large. I don't know, I'm not in a position to tell whether some have escaped. But there's a feeling that some are still in the country and security is tight. The government is appealing to citizens not to harbor these rebels.
Would some be trying to flee towards the borders to get away?
There's a possibility that they could be doing so.
Now, there have been reports of retribution being taken in Monrovia against people who are suspected to support Kwiwongpa. Now, just what is going on?
Well, some people have been arrested. The chief of staff in a television broadcast 2 nights ago said people were being picked up, especially those in the army, the officers who were appointed by Kwiwongpa. He said these will be detained and they will be investigated. Leading officials of political parties and some civilians have also been picked up for questioning. As far as killings are concerned relating to this matter, I have not received or been able to get any evidence that people have been killed in reprisal.
Now, it has been said that the Gio area in Monrovia has been particularly hard hit, Kwiwongpa being a Gio. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. The security forces have been particular about these areas because I'm sure they suspect that coming from the same ethnic group as Kwiwongpa, they might be harboring dissidents. So they have been particularly concerned with them, searching just to find out if they are in fact in complicity with what went on.
In fact, how much support was there for Kwiwongpa at the start of the coup? I'm thinking particularly within the army.
Well, I don't think he had majority support. If you could say maybe he had only 1/3 of the support of the army, because only the headquarters at BTC, they seem to have given in to the announcement very early. According to the Chief of Staff, Duba, Kwiwongpa raided the BTC, he captured the place and in fact detained the Chief of Staff. So when his orders came over the radio, the soldiers at BTC were already taking orders from him. But the executive mansion guard who repelled his morning attack, his 5 o'clock attack, were still on the side of Doe, as well as the 1st Battalion, which is on the road to the airport about 18 miles from Monrovia.
What kind of mood do you think Doe is in now?
Well, Doe is in a victorious mood. I saw him driving in an open car. He rode in an open car from the mansion to the broadcasting station 8 miles outside the city, and he was acknowledging cheers from the crowd, pulling onto a rifle, and then drove back into Monrovia, then on to the Barclay Training Center. He is in a victorious mood today.
And is Monrovia beginning to get back to normal?
Yeah, Monrovia is beginning to get back to normal. About 70% of the business life is in swing. Civil servants are back at work. And only schools today, no schools have opened up today. Hospitals are operating normally. And taxis and buses are plying the streets.
Are people frightened of soldiers?
Initially they were, but they are getting used to it, and the number of soldiers on the streets is going down.
How much physical damage has been done to Monrovia?
Minimum. There has been no looting, no shops have been damaged. There was some damage at the mansion, probably from bullets during the heavy fighting.
There have been reports of lots of bodies lying dead in the street or being driven around in lorries and so on. Are they true?
I saw about 3 bodies. One was a soldier who refused to surrender, and the other 2 were civilians. I think the hospital should be able to tell us, and I have to check that. But according to reports too from the mansion, about 10 rebels were killed, 10 or 15. Probably people might have seen this 1 or 2 truckloads of corpses.
So we're talking about a total death toll, do you think, of how many?
Up to now, maybe we can say about 30.
Why do you think the coup failed? Was it because of lack of popular support or lack of organization or what?
Well, I think the coup failed because the head of state has really organized his defense system here in Liberia. So I think it will be very difficult for an outside force to come into Liberia and topple do easily.
Jeff Mutada in Monrovia. And there's now been a radio announcement in Monrovia ordering a number of people to report to the executive mansion, among them opposition party leaders such as Jackson Doe, Edward Kesseley, Tuan Ray and Bacchus Matthews. President Mobutu of Zaire has clearly been annoyed by stories in the Swiss press last week about the deportation of 59 Zairians.